The great prophet Moses was dead. The man who defied Pharaoh, who split the sea, who spoke with God face to face, was gone. And now, a great nation stood still on the edge of the Jordan. Behind them, the wilderness. Ahead, the promised land. But the land was not empty. Joshua was their new leader, a warrior, a servant of God, chosen to finish what Moses began.
I never asked for this mantle. I did not seek command, nor the burden of nations. And yet here I stand, on the banks of the Jordan, the river before me, history behind me, and the promise of God above me. Why did Moses choose me? He never said it outright. That was not his way. But I remember the first time he looked at me, not as a boy, not as a warrior, but as something more. It was after Rephidim. We had just struck down the Amalekites. I had led the charge, but it was not by strength that we won. It was because Moses stood on the hill, arms lifted to the heavens. When he grew weary, Aaron and Hur held his arms high, and as long as his hands reached upward, we prevailed. Moses saw something in me after that day. I think he recognized not just boldness, but obedience. I did not question. I did not claim victory for myself. I understood the battle was the Lord's, and the leader's place was to serve the will of heaven, not the will of the people. That is what made Moses who he was. That is what I tried to emulate. I chose to serve him not out of ambition, but out of awe. Moses was unlike any man I had ever known. He feared no king, yet trembled before the voice of God. He stood alone at Sinai and came down with his face lit by the fire of the Almighty. He could command the earth to swallow rebels, and yet plead with the Lord to spare them. There was iron in him, but also sorrow. He carried the people's rebellion like a stone in his heart. When they grumbled, he mourned. When they worshipped idols, he wept. When they demanded water, he struck the rock. But in anger, and for that, he was barred from the land. I watched the cost of leadership in his footsteps. I learned from it. And now I carry what he began. The tribes are a wonder and a curse. We are one people, yes, but we are 12 ambitions bound in covenant. Each tribe bears its own pride, its own stories, its own scars. Judah believes it is destined to rule. Reuben still resents his fall from the firstborn's favor. Dan and Simeon whisper in corners. Ephraim, my tribe, carries the burden of Joseph's legacy, and some assume leadership is ours by right. When Moses died, others stirred. There were murmurs. Let a prince of Judah lead. Let a council of elders decide our fate. But I did not answer them. I prayed. And when the Lord confirmed my call before the assembly, there was silence. Not because they loved me, but because they feared the fire of Sinai and the cloud that hovered over the ark. Still, I know who walks beside me in trust, and who walks with clenched fists. I trust Caleb of Judah like a brother. He has a lion's heart and a straight tongue. He stood with me when all others faltered. I would give him a city if he asked for it. He never sought glory, only truth. I respect Eleazar, son of Aaron. He is not his father. Aaron was soft, too soft. He meant well, but he bent under pressure. He forged the golden calf to appease the crowd, and for that, I could never fully forgive him. But Eleazar is different. He is sharp, disciplined. Where Aaron tried to please the people, Eleazar reminds them of their place. The priesthood under him is strong. It must be, for soon the ark will go before us into war. I do not trust certain elders. Names I will not speak. Men who smile and plot, who speak of unity but guard their tribe's interest above all. One from Simeon once offered me a bride and a city if I would delay Judah's march. I refused him, but he walks among us still. I have not forgotten the Amalekites. Their warriors came like jackals, striking our women and children from the rear. They fear no God and honor no rule of war. I remember the blood in the sand, the cries, the fury. The Lord swore he would wipe them from memory. I will not rest until they are dust. The Canaanites, they are different. They are not cowards. They are fortified, cunning, and rich in iron and grain. Their cities, Jericho, Ai, Hazor, stand like sentinels, each ruled by its own king, each guarded by stone walls and bronze chariots. But they are divided. Their gods are many: Baal, Asherah, Dagon, El, names carved in wood and stone. Each city honors a different idol. They are fractured. That is their weakness. They war with one another when we are not near. I intend to use that. As for Egypt, I once feared Pharaoh's might. No more. I know their garrisons still watch from the coast, their scribes sending word to Memphis or Tanis. But Egypt's gods did not save them when our God moved. I watched their river turn to blood. I saw their army vanish beneath the waves. Their pride lies broken like the chariot wheels on the seabed. They may still breathe, but they no longer rule. I do not pretend to know what lies ahead. I do not expect every tribe to stay loyal, nor every battle to be easy. But I have seen the Lord's hand. I have heard his voice. I do not need to know the outcome to walk forward. When I was a child, I dreamed of the land of milk and honey. Now, I dream of peace, of vineyards planted by our children, of the sound of laughter in the hills of Ephraim, of the ark resting beneath a permanent roof. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. This is why I fight. This is why I lead. Let the river rise. Let the walls stand high. The Lord goes before us. And I, Joshua, son of Nun, servant of the Most High, will not turn back.